Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you guys are at. I hope you have a fantastic day. It's Soul Saint here, and we got a big event that kind of came out today, which is the Fuel Deck of Fate. It includes basically 40 cards that we have to pull, and you get to see that there's some pretty decent rewards. Obviously, no Wrath this time, and if you haven't pulled since then, you're kind of in a similar place that I'm in. But they do have some rewards like the Radiant Sunflower Sun Lilies that you can get both different, like all different tiers basically, and also you can get some if you pull more of the same card type. So very, very interesting indeed. You got some different rates. You got 90 for smalls, 900 for immortals, and of course 4.5 for eternals. As of this time, I did do a recording with one of my closest mods. Shout out to Khan here, which I'm actually gonna go and I'm gonna make myself disappear. We had a little bit of a hiccup with some of the audio, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna voice over for my voice instead. So basically what we're gonna do is we talked about the event and whatnot and see what we're gonna pull there and kind of rationalize whether or not it's going to be, you know, worth pulling and whatnot. We talked about the rates too. It's not exactly what you get. I believe it's not increasing the chances of like you getting like a higher rarity, but if you do so happen to pull a specific or you know any of the shards right now from mortals, you have a higher chance of getting a 5, 6, and a 4-star subsequently in terms of increased rates. That's why you see yellow right there. So I was yapping about it. We kind of talked about the deck of fate like how I just showed you, and pretty much we went into the pulls. He had over 200, so almost 300 for that matter that he pulled, and we're gonna gotta go through it further for now. He had Fabian, Lydia, and I believe Ninja in there, as well as some other epics that he didn't have fully go. So I am really, really excited to see it in action, and you guys can watch me kind of yap over there in silence for the most part. Basically, the big thing I was looking for was just we wanted to get better upgrades and whatnot. So I'm actually going to kind of push this along here so we can kind of get into the pulls. It's kind of exciting. But yeah, we're looking for big ones. The main thing is that I was hoping for not only hitting like mythicals and legendaries and ideally like selective epics that he wanted, but also just in general higher star ratings is what we want. We want higher tier versions. So like getting, you know, onesies and twosies is kind of like what we wanted for the most part. So I kind of was like, all right, well, in that case, then we, you know, we'll just kind of like, you know, pray our RNG is pretty good. And it started off a little bit slow. I'm not gonna lie. It was like, okay, well, you know, can we see a banger kind of? Then we started seeing purple and I was like, okay, this is kind of maybe a possibility. 3-star though. I was like, oh man, are these rates on? You know, I was kind of asking like, are these rates on? And then we got a couple more blues and it was kind of just like I was a little disheartened at first. I was like, you know what, hopefully this wasn't a bad idea. And you know, my boy Khan, who I feel like RNG has not been on, he's due for a breakthrough, you know what I mean? And then we got the yellow. I was like, okay, maybe, and it was like, all right, well, it's a Roxanne 1-star. We're not really too excited about the champion and whatnot, but we're seeing yellow and this early on. So it's like, you know what, maybe, just maybe there's a chance, you know, that we can get something banger. And I will say this, hold tight, because this is a very interesting set of pulls. It took a little bit to get to a certain point, but when we got to that point, I would say it was kind of worthwhile. And that's basically kind of what I was looking at. I was like, you know what, depending on the rates here, it looks like we're going to do some things. Now, I am going to kind of skip ahead here once we have to go in between some of the cleanses, because he had like almost 300, right? And he only had like 130 spaces. So we had to do some cooking around and whatnot. So we started pulling by 10s. We do a bunch of pages, saw some Paragon 4-stars, and it looked like we got, okay, a 6-star Shamil to start off. And that was like by far like one of his big most wanted, because honestly, Shamil's a hitter on his own, and then like very usable in a lot of different areas of the game. So like hitting wish list and then hitting a 6-star wish list just to start off was like, okay, we're happy. We got something we wanted. We got something max that we wanted. So it's like huge. And I was actually talking to him on the side. I was trying my best to kind of keep the conversation going and kind of looking out to the side there while I was talking. He was listening in and, you know, he muted himself and whatnot. We took a little quick gander and I saw like his Venomage is like maybe 1 or 2 stars. So like, you know what, we could probably put that on there. And then we got right back into the pools and we were like, okay, let's keep it going, you know? And I was hoping to hit like a really decent banger. And, you know, we kept pulling around. We started seeing some yellows. We started seeing some mixed bag of stuff. It was kind of like a little bit on the lows, you know, and then we hit the Tay-Rail 6-star, and I was like, man, that's actually pretty good, you know. And I talked about how like Skaramis and Tyrell are like a great combo, and you guys, if you watched me when I was grinding up my, you know, my faction wars, those were my tried and true options. So we definitely went off of them and we were like, okay, that was worth it, you know, that was worth every little bit that we had. So very happy with that. And then we got the 4-star Royal Guard, which is one of his other wish lists, and I was like, okay, cool, that's a big jump, you know, going from 0 to 4-star is not only getting attack but crit damage too on top of that. So, you know, if you're looking for a stop point that's not 6-star for the champion, obviously you want it at 4-star for your nukers because you get crit damage, right? So big gains there. And I was like, and that's kind of what I was relaying during this part here. Saw some 5 stars and 4 stars. A lot of it was coming from blues, which is a little little like, you know, worrying and whatnot. I was like, man, you know, we want like legendary, we want like mythicals, and that worse, you know, epics, because you know, that's where he's like hunting for like blessings and stuff for. So it's like, man, you know, we want to see those bangers, and it's like, well, we're pulling yellows, and then we got a Lydia 1-star. Now Lydia was a 0-star prior to that in terms of like blessings, so and something's better than nothing, right? And we took that, so that was a little mini victory within the big victory that we already got. So I was very happy to see that. I was like, all right, well, as long as we can keep getting something in terms of improvements, progression is the key to it. So getting upgrades, W. You know what I mean? That's kind of what we're hoping for at the end of the day. Just we're looking for W's. We're looking for W's. So we kind of kept going from there. I believe honestly with this account, like almost a lot of upgrades wise, like anything is pretty much an upgrade from nothing, right? So he was getting a lot of value out of it, which is kind of exciting. You know, you want to see something, you know. Stagnation, and I talked about that quite a bit during the recording. I was like, you know what, stagnation is kind of one of the big things that can kind of defeat the morale of a person when they're playing their counts and whatnot. So I was talking and I was like, man, you know, we want to see something that's going to push you, even if it's like a 1-star gain. A 1-star gain is something. Then we saw like Affidus. Now, I think that was the first red that we saw on his account, which was like super exciting, you know. So I was hoping to see, you know, that being like a good omen towards us getting more and more for the account. And I was like, okay, well, you know, we're getting something. And like I'm trying to stay optimistic about it, because like it kind of feels like we're slowly seeing some life get breathed into the account. It's like, man, but like, where's the banger? Where's the banger? What's the banger that's gonna make it worthwhile? You know. So we kept it going, and eventually I think we hit a road where we had to do a little bit of a cleaning up. But like yellows and reds and whatnot is what we want to see. Obviously, you know, got another yellow on top of that, and it was an Artac. I think that was an upgrade for him as well. So like small gains, very small gains. You know, in this case for Artac, it'd be like a 2-star. It's not really that crazy because he's HP based. So you kind of want, you know, 3 and then subsequently 5 and 6 if you're gonna play like the utility support build, so that he could sustain solo Ice Golem boss or whatever. So, you know, looking at those as like an option, we're like, okay, well, this is where we at. So I kind of fast forward, kind of did a little bit of a little bit more crafting in that regard, I believe. Let me see if I catch myself up here. Yeah, we talked about it. I think this is where we picked off at. So we ended up going for some more blessings here. It kind of was like, all right, we see some, but it's nothing too crazy. You know, we're kind of looking for an answer here. I kind of skipped back a little too far, so you have to forgive me. We start seeing some more options there. Aishma was one that I was like, I probably will end up selling that one. Candle Guard 2 as well. It's like, those are champions I probably wouldn't build up. But, you know, seeing 6-star is always a nice little, you know, it just looks pretty, you know, so you're just kind of happy with it. So I'm like, all right, well, this one's kind of a dud. We got like better options for Royo now that he has a 4-star. So it's like, all right, does this really have any W's for us? So Glycad, Chaplain, and then we got Morag, which is a upgrade, you know, 3-star. I think we had like got 2 stars for our prior, so like, you know, small incremental upgrades is good. I'd rather have a 3 than a 2 because that's defense for Morag, and she's a defense-based champion. And then I was like, you know what, my Senna that I have is only like maybe a 1 or 2 star, so like even this is an upgrade for me. You know, trying to, you know, we're keeping it optimistic. You know how I am. But yeah, more prages along the way, and you know, we're trying to see if we got something that's worthwhile, you know. KO 5-star was pretty cool, and then we got Androck 2-star. Man, that would have been really cool to see a 6-star there, you know what I mean? Like, we want bangers for our bangers, you know, so obviously, you know, I'm trying to keep the morale going, and I was like, man, this is like, where's the banger, you know? Where's the banger? I don't see it. So keeping it going, watching, got another red, looks exciting, and then there's a Mikage. Now, this one, although it wasn't a 6-star, is still pretty nifty because I believe Mikage had a 2-star, so a 3-star upgrade is pretty good for Chimera defensive measures. You know, you could set her as the mark target for lion form, you know, little things like that. So he uses Mikage quite a bit in Chimera, so big value there. Also, even in Hydra too, you know, making her a little bit more tankier. So stonks, we're seeing upgrades, and that's a huge bonus for us. So, you know, I'm taking a peek here. We had to do quite a bit of cleansing since we were limited on space, and you know, we started getting back to pools and whatnot. I believe he's in the ballpark of wanting to build up 2 Morags like how I did for my account. So, you know, seeing duplicate for Morag was not too bad, but we want to obviously take it up a notch, you know. Onesies and twosies aren't cutting it. So we kept it going, saw another red star, and we saw Toshiro 2-star. Now, Toshiro's dope. Even with the 2-star, the first one's HP, the second one is attack for blessing value. He scales off of both, so that's a big W on both departments. The next big upgrade would obviously be at 4-star, then 5 and 6, right? But as you go along, the more higher it goes, the better it gets. So, I mean, like, obviously, like, almost every star for him has some kind of gain, whether that's the blessing passive or just the stats itself, which are pretty dope. So I think we did get at one point or another a summon that was just straight up, like, it felt like you got taxed, like a blue tax. you know, if you watch me pull shards or pull for the community in general, you kind of see it's like sometimes you get like a 10 pop that just is nothing but blues or something like that. We call that the blue tax, you know. But you know, he's getting something in between every now and then with that. But I mean, nothing substantial, right? And we're like, oh man, we're kind of worried. Well, for me, I'm like, you know, we're trying to keep spirits up. But I'm like, you know what? We want that banger. Where's that banger at? The one that's going to make, like, I feel like we came out with W's with, like, Shamail and some of the other champions we were looking to get something for, which is a W, but we want a big one to end it off, you know? Like, give me that creme de la creme is what I call it, you know? The cream of the crap. And, you know, we're getting Ishiyama 3-star, which is not too crazy. Jeroboam 1-star, not too crazy. I mean, it's yellow. Yellow's yellow. It's nice, but, like, where is the selling point of these pools, you know? So after a little bit more cleansing, we go for another set there, and it's like, well, kind of feels like we're not seeing our victory here. Where are we, you know? And I'm like, well, shoot. I kind of feel like maybe it's not worth pulling this round, you know? I'm thinking that in the back of my head, low-key. I'm going to keep honest. And we saw a 5-star Ugo. I was like, okay, the rates are still there. It's still there. It's like it wants to give us something good. Where is it, you know? So we're digging a little bit more, going a little bit more on the Soulstones, you know? Kind of letting the pops go. And it's like, okay, 5-star Kurzad, you know? I actually have done a team with Double Dementia and Kurzad for Iron Twins way back in the day. I think that made it easier now to a point where you don't need to do that, but... You know, it's like, all right, at least a 5-star, but not too bad. I talked about Nod. Nod was actually a champion that I think a lot of people say for, like, as a rare champion, he's pretty solid. And I want you guys to let me know in the comments. What do y'all think about that? I feel like, you know, maybe that might be a champion we need to give a good glance at, you know? Then we kept going. We just kept looking around to see what we got. Another Morag, okay. Nothing too high. We already have seen 2 stars. We want to see, like, 4 and higher, you know? 6-star Juice Reach. I talked about that being my first ever... one of my first ever 6-star champions on my account, period, when Blessings first came out, which, ironically enough, it keeps you humble, you know? And a little stuff like that. That's basically what I said. It keeps you humble, you know, getting all that good stuff, you know? And that's basically what I said during this part. You see me have a little cheeky little smile, you know? Cutie patootie. But yeah, we're pulling, and I'm like, man, where is the banger? Like, I still feel like even Doom Screen 6 stars, like, that's not enough, you know what I mean? Like, where's the thing that's going to make me like, oh, yeah, boy. And here it is. There's that blue text, and I'm like, man... This feels rough. We're down to our 70, so I'm like, okay, I got a little bit more to cleanse off, so we got rid of some of the garbo we got, and then we pulled, and then boom. Okay, I lost 2-star. Nothing crazy, but it is cool to see. I think he told me to sell this one in DMs while we were doing it. I was like, oh man, it sucks. That means it's not worth it. And then I made a joke about Soul on Boyer. You know, every single time you see a soul in the name of the champion, I always got to get super fancy with it. You know, Soul saying, come on, bro. You know, you already know. So. I'm still like kind of on the hunt. I was like, where's that banger? Where's the banger? And then like we're seeing a lot of blue text and like I'm starting to get to this point now where like I'm trying to be optimistic because you know at the end of the day like Khan's let me pull on his account. He's watching alongside me, and I want to keep it positive for him because like at the end of the day, you know, if you're pulling shards for somebody or Soulstones for somebody, you want them to feel good when they get done with it. You know what I mean? So like I'm like, man, you know, it's not over yet. And to be honest with you, I'm gonna say this just as a little bit of a pre-tease. I'm glad I kept the momentum going in that positive favor because something came up and they were like, okay. Now, Ethelyn was one that I was like, you know what? That is, I did a collab with Ash and I was like, you know what? He might be worth building up. And a lot of people seem to stand him. I'm like, I never got around to building him up myself, but I kind of feel like maybe that would be a good opportunity to try it. So we got down to our last 40, I think, at the end here. And I think I sold what I needed to sell. And I was like, okay, I think we're at a safe enough spot now. We're going to go ahead and see the last little bit through. And we started pulling. And sure enough, as we started pulling, we see a blue. It's not good. Another blue, a purple. Okay, it's Royal Guard. And then we got a red, yellow, and it was Ninja. And I don't know if Ninja had a blessing or not, but like seeing Wishlist is always a positive experience, right? So we kept going, and then it's like, okay, well, if Ninja didn't have a blessing, now he's got some. 6-star Justice CR, you know, it's like, although it's a character that we don't care about, you know, get it on the character we care about, and that's a W. And then selling that for, you know, essence or currency for other pools and whatnot, you know, obviously is a W. From a single, we take those. 3-star Morag is a big upgrade. You know, you got defense now, right? And then we started pulling like, all right, well, we're getting kind of close to the tail end. I think we're going to our second to last or last one to round this whole set of pulls out. And I'm like, is it over? Is this not good enough? Look at my face, you know, I'm like locked in, like, oh my god, I'm just praying for one W. Okay, Venom Mage upgrade, Theodosa, I love Theodosa, I'm a homie Theodosa, 6-star Georgian, another yellow, okay, good, got a 3-star, then got a red, and it's a 6-star Mezzelbell! You see me going over that, I'm going bonkers. And that, it made it worth it from a small, you know what I mean? From smalls, getting a 6-star red is fantastic. You can't complain about that. Obviously, seeing the Georgian and getting an upgrade to Venom Mage is also dope too as well. you know, you can't really complain about it. I think I have one more set of pulls there, which is kind of awesome. I'm gonna go and get past the yap because you guys kind of hear me summarize it, and then we did another set of pulls here, and in summary, that was it. You know what I mean? That kind of locked us out for that one. And I felt personally that, like, I was like, you know what? Getting the upgrades for the epics he was looking to get upgrades for was what we wanted. Getting Mesomel, which down the road has some viability, although it's a little bit more niche, is an upgrade. Now, I'm already sitting on mine, so if I'm getting a 6-star upgrade, I want it for a mythical. I either, you know, really want to upgrade for, or an upgrade to these two, which I will hopefully eventually will get soon, you know, soon TM. I'm wishing good juju for it. So, for me, I'm not entirely sure how I want to approach this because I'm, on the other hand, a little bit on the lower side of Soulstones. So I think I'll pull at least my mortal for this video, kind of to share some more with you guys if you guys are down. But I don't know how I feel about going any further. I do have some Eternals I'm sitting on. If I wanted to convert some currency, I could technically go in on my Immortal Soulstones. I would like to wait for enhanced rates for those just to give me better chances personally. But I'm not sure how I feel about it. You know, I think maybe we'll get a gauge on the pulls themselves, and then maybe we'll go into some Deck of Fate pulls on the video and see what we go from there. I don't know how I'm going to pull to get over the finish line, though, because I obviously don't have enough to do it without dipping somewhere else. So we'll have to feel. Maybe during the next live stream, which you guys could check us when we're normally streaming. We're normally streaming. You may catch it even during while this video is live. You know, I'm live on YouTube and Twitch around 1 p.m. Eastern time frame on Tuesdays through Fridays. So make sure you come and hang out. You know, come say what's up. Say you've seen the video. I'll glaze you with appreciation. You know how I am. Anyways, with that being said, I think I'm gonna pull we'll pull what we have. I think that I'm down to do that. So for me, my big ones right now is upgrades to any of these 3 champions. My epics, for the most part, I'll show you here real quickly. I'm in a pretty good spot. I'm actually, I'm not in a place where I can complain. Most of the epics that I care about are pretty much all maxed out for the most part. So nothing too overly like, I gotta get an upgrade for this champion or like that. It's nothing around those lines. So really what I want, if I'm gonna get something, is gonna be a 6-star mythical, honestly. But if I get like a legendary from any of these 3, I would not complain either. So with that being said, I'm gonna pull the 9 and then we're gonna pull the 70. I'm actually kind of excited for my account. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna give you guys 1 Prage for the first set, and then we're gonna go Prages for the 10s, okay? So 1, 2, 3, Prage! Hopefully we get a banger. I would take 1 banger from this. Androck 4-star. Okay, not bad. My Androck's already fully awakened, so not what I was expecting, to be honest with you, but a W nevertheless, because that's free coins, man, free currency. We take those. We take those. Another mythical? A Kurosa. Believe it or not, I think she's not blessed at all, so that's an upgrade. I've already won. Now, am I going to build her? I don't know about that, but let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Yo, 2 mythicals back to back. Yo, player, you listening in? Hold up. What, yo, I mean, thanks. All right, here we go. Bulwark 2-star. Nothing too crazy there on that one. I can't really brag too much about it. Like I said, I'm looking for mythicals, big boys, the big boy ones, you know, 6-star or higher. Or, well, you can't go higher than 6, but yeah, 5 or 6 stars is pretty much what I'm looking for. Honestly, at this point, give me the 6 stars. It's hard to get mythicals, you know, the mythical blessings. So we want to, if we're going to get them, might as well one and done it. You know what I'm saying? All right, more blues to top us off here. We got a Huntress. 4 left before we start doing some 10 pops. Let's see if we get something of a banger. I just want upgrades. Anything that's an upgrade would probably be a W. I mean, I'm going to put myself in the shoes of, like, just how Khan I was talking. You know, progression in any capacity is good for, you know, preventing that feeling of stagnation. So, another mythical, and it's a 1-star Calamitous. Oh, my goodness. I feel like they want to give me some reds. I'm down. Where's the 6-star, though? You know what I'm saying? Give me the big Bangarooski. You know what I'm saying? All right, we got down to a Hellborn Sprite for a single target one. Now we got a last one before we start doing some 10 pops. Honestly, I'm very surprised at how many reds we got in one singular push. That was kind of interesting. All right, let's go ahead and pull some more. All right, here we go. Page! I want a banger red, man. A banger red would be pretty huge. The fact that I even got reds at this point, like the way I just did, was kind of surprised. Honestly, I was very surprised. I wasn't expecting anything, to be honest with you. Like, I say, I hype it up and all that, but at the end of the day, you know, I got to be realistic to it as well. You know, this is kind of more par for the course. But hey, a red, I'll take a red if it gets a big banger and it's an upgrade for me. I'm not gonna complain at all. You know what I'm saying? Let's go. So Kuros is already a little bit of a mini W. Let's see if we get anything else that's a little bit more worthwhile. Honestly, a 6-star and something would be kind of cool to get hype about. You know, I just want to share this with you guys. You know, it's something fun. Hefrek 1-star. I think my Hefrek is either fully awakened or pretty high up there. So that's not an upgrade. That'd be an easy sell for me. But yellow, we take those. We take those. All right, another yellow, which is a stick track. Nice. I'm actually in the process of building them up for Chimera, believe it or not. So kind of hyped to that. I don't know if I have an upgrade on them already or a blessing on them already. So that might actually be a little bit of a W. And he's HB based, so big W's there, actually. Let's see what else we can get our hands on here. Looks like we are getting a Basher, a Neldor, Doom Screech. I talked about that one. Soulbon Boyer. Gotta get fancy when you see the soul name. You know what I'm saying? Share it with my fellow souls. All right, let's see what else we got here. Looks like we got 7 head, another yellow. It's a Countess Licks 2-star. I feel like my boy Khan got that too as well, which is interesting. Got a Seer 2-star. My Seers have 5 stars, so the only way we would beat that is if we got a 6 for her. But nothing too fancy, nothing too crazy. Let's see what else we got here. A red! It's a nice 3-star. Come on, where's the other 3 stars? Oh, that's so affordable. Mine's is already 6 stars, so it's a or not 6 stars. Mine's already a 4-star, so these aren't an upgrade. Our base is also a 6-star for me, so she's fully awakened. So these 2 would be easy sells, unless I could save it for maybe another nice if I get it down the road. Would I want to build up another nice? I think the answer is yes. Oddly enough, huh? The more you know. Let's go, Paige. Kind of interesting to see the reds that we've been getting. You know. We're going in the right direction. Just give me the $6 Karuski, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of... I'm actually flabbergasted at how much red I got, considering I feel like lessers don't normally treat me this well. Fiora had 1-star. I think he's already got a blessing, so like that would probably be an easy sell. And then a Harken 5 to end it off. I think that's it for me. Oh, no. That's it. Let me go ahead and claim my coins here. I could save up... and maybe use these for the event. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, I'm not really big on using the mediums right now, but yeah. Let's see. Kurosa is an upgrade, so I'll take that. Something's better than nothing. Let's see what else we have here. Basher, I didn't have anything on him, so you can have that. That's fine. Let's see what else we got. We got Snake Track. Okay, the only Snake Track I have, and he didn't have anything. He obviously he's not fully finished, so I think the only thing I'm missing is books, and then he's good to get used. So a blessing on him is better than nothing, right? So we take those. Got a 4-star from Melga. We'll give that to her. And then Old Man Yorg, Hermit Yorg, Old Hermit Yorg, Old Hermit Yorg. Yeah, pretty cool there. Nothing too fancy. All the rest of these I think are champions that I already have blessings waiting for them. I just haven't pulled the trigger on yet. But yeah, nothing too crazy this round, huh? I'm actually surprised at how many reds we got. Obviously, as you can see, the Androck and them are not showing up there is because they're already fully awakened or they're higher tier awakening. So yeah, these are easy sells. I'm actually going to sit on the Nice one, and we're going to contemplate whether or not we want to keep it. If I get a 6-star, I'm obviously going to put it on my current Nice. If I get a 4-star, I'll sell this one and keep the second one. So that I can use it for maybe a second ice. But I think for right now, since this could be for a second ice, we might as well just hold on to it. I don't see why not. And that'll do it for us there, I think, huh? Not too bad, not too bad. You guys let me know how y'all feel about this. Let's go and do this one too. My homie Raph. We got Raph during the last deck of Fate. And I think this is why my count is a little bit on the lower side. I went all in for Raph, and I got him, thankfully, so we're pretty happy about it. Obviously going to throw the packs at us. They want us to see us get involved a lot more. But that gives me at least 7 to go. I'm going to go down from the far left down in columns, so let's do it. See if we get a pretty quick blue-purple set. Let's go ahead and pin the blue for now. Got another green, got another green, got another green, got another green. Give me a blue, okay? Give me another blue. I can't do any more. We might do a little bit of champion grinding. We'll see how far we can go with it. It looks like they give you a little bit of points. Nothing too overly crazy, but, you know, they gave us a lot of systems to make that a lot more easier to accomplish as long as you got it. So I may just do a little bit of that to cover some of the costs, and then we'll see over time if maybe I can get a couple more for... you know, to pull during the week. I mean, we got, you know, I want to say what Hydra coming up soon. That's going to be resetting. That maybe there's some other areas I can get some blessings and stuff for. So we'll see. I'm not entirely sure. You'll catch me on the stream, and you guys can let me know, and I'll tell you if or you could ask the question if I'm going to keep going or not. And I may dabble. We'll see.
A few moments later. All
right, guys. After conferring with some of the friendos, and I watched some people pull some stuff, I got the itch. I'm gonna go ahead and try to complete this this entire deck of Fate event. I've already pulled like the little smalls that you seen me do earlier, but I'm gonna go ahead and pull I think 7 or 8 of my Eternals to see if we get like a banger. So what I'm looking for is basically mythicals or high legendaries if possible. So we'll just see if RNG is on our side. I'm actually gonna go ahead, just a tinfoil hat theory this. We're gonna go ahead and do international 0 just for some good RNG, see if we get lucky with it, and see what we got. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Paige, come on, baby. I want to see red. That's really all I care about. Red or higher. Red or higher. A purple. That's not good. Starting off with a 5-star Anchorite. Okay, that's 1. We got 7 more we're gonna do. There's 2. Another purple. Oh man, Stagnite. I think my stag's already maxed. All right, number 3. Come on, baby. I'm looking for a banger here. Oh, a yellow. Here we go. It is a Dracul. Oh man. All right, number 4. Dracul's not. I don't have the champion. I don't think I want like a big one. Oh, here's a mythical. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. After the 6-star. Oh, that's. I already have mine maxed all the way, but that does mean I get 2 more Eternals back though if I sell it. So kind of a win for me there. All right, 5. I believe this is that. So let's see. Come on, more reds, baby. More reds. Another purple. Another purple. That's super unlucky. All right, here we go. Next round. Come on, baby. I'm looking for a banger. Oh, another red. Here we go. It's Kami 5. Oh, mine is already 5-star. Dude, the 6-star would be so nasty if I could get it on there. All right, I think I got 2 more left. 2 more left. 2 more left. Here we go. Here we go. Come on. All right, we're seeing red though, so that's not too bad. That's not too bad. Another purple though, man. It could be good or bad depending on how you look at it. Come on, just 1 6-star that I have access to. Give me the nice. Give me the Gallius. Give me the Theo. Give me a banger. A yellow. It is. Oh, my homie Ragash. All my homies love Ragash. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. He's pretty cool. He's pretty cool. You know, not too bad. I got a couple reds. I think all of them are fully awakened at the tier that they're at. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and sell both of those, and that gives me about 2, almost 3 back from that one. So not too bad. God, I was hoping for banger reds, man. I kind of was cheering for a big upgrade, man. But not too bad, not too bad. I'm sitting on 5 more. I think maybe we'll consider waiting. I'm not entirely sure, but let me know what you guys think on that one. And with that being said, don't forget to always remember, stay ascended.
Got the